So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology 10 ways the iPhone 13 Pro is better than the S22 Plus. Now you might be wondering, Nick, didn't you just say in the last video that the Samsung's better? Yes, but I also said I would tell you 10 ways that the iPhone 13 Pro is the better option, because both phones are incredible, but there are certain reasons why the 13 Pro just beats the Samsung. Let me talk about my very first reason, and that is the more consistent performance. Now, I find that the performance on this phone right here is just slightly more consistent day to day. I find myself running into a little hiccup here and there on the S22 Plus. It's very rare, but I'll find that certain times there'll be a little delay in the actual smooth factor, and app will just kind of animate a little bit annoying, whereas I find that to never happen for the iPhone 13 Pro. So just a little bit more consistent performance on this device right here. Number two is that the Apple A15 Bionic chipset is also a faster chip than the Galaxy S22 Plus. So if you're looking for a phone that does have better performance, the A15 is going to be that phone for you. So that's number two, and definitely something that is probably not too concerning in 2022, as most phones are really quick, but at the same time, it's a little bit better. It seems to stay a little bit cooler under heavier use as well, showing me it's a little bit more of an efficient CPU, even though this does have a 4 nanometer versus a 5 nanometer. Apple's A series line is just super well optimized. It's super fast. So Apple's really running the chip game right now in mobile. Now, the third reason is that the actual text of the display is sharper as well. So you have a 460 ppi density on here, and that is because Apple is getting more density because it's a smaller screen and they're packing in more pixels, whereas Samsung's giving you a brighter, bigger display for the money. You're still getting 1080, so it's definitely not as sharp, and some people will not like that. I can actually see a little bit less sharpness on the S22 Plus over something like the S22 Ultra, whereas the iPhone 13 Pro is giving you kind of like an S22 Ultra like sharpness. Not quite there, but it's up there. So definitely I would pick this one if you care about pixel density, sharpness of the display. The iPhone 13 Pro is where it's at. This one is where it's at if you want a larger panel for that same price. So it's actually a little bit cheaper right now than the 13 Pro, but they both launched at $1,000. Now the next one is that you can get the iPhone 13 Pro at a more storage capacity. So if you're looking for a little bit more storage on your iPhone, this is a 128 gig model, but you can get this all the way up to 1 terabyte. You can't really do that for the Galaxy S22 Plus. And because unlike older Samsungs, they don't really expand on the memory game, the S22 Plus is just kind of like, you know, you just top out at the 256 gigs. So definitely not the strongest there in the actual storage capacity. So if you're looking for more storage, the iPhone is where it's at. Of course, though, if you do go to 1 terabyte, it's going to cost you several $100s more than the S22 Plus. So keep that in mind. All right, guys. So the next one is the sharper telephoto camera. So the iPhone 13 Pro, while I talked about it can't zoom as far as the Galaxy S22 Plus, it actually does have a sharper telephoto. So if you're looking for actual better performance in the telephoto camera, that's going to be the way to go. This also has a dedicated macro mode, which is quite nice for the 13 Pro. But yeah, sharper telephoto camera, definitely slotting in at number 5. In addition, at number 6, we do have something that really is quite nice about the iPhone. This is pretty much all iPhones, but I'm going to give it this one, and that's going to be the more consistent software updates for your iPhone 13 Pro. If you want faster updates and you want them more regularly, you'll get them on the S22 Plus, don't get me wrong, but they're not going to come in quite as frequently as for an iPhone 13 Pro. So if you're looking for better software support, definitely consider the iPhone 13 Pro over the S22 Plus. I found it to be the better option. At number 7 is going to be, this one actually has a better LTPO display. It does have 10 hertz to 120 hertz, so it can actually refresh down to a lower level. This one gets down to 48 hertz, so this is some techie stuff, but still at the same time you'll find yourself saving more battery life because Apple can get it down to a lower hertz range than the Galaxy S22 Plus. So definitely saves a little bit of battery life when you don't need to be using the super smooth display. And then when you are using it, ProMotion allows this thing to be super slick and smooth and operate just about perfect every day for the 13 Pro. The next one is, I find overall that the Samsung just doesn't have better video quality than the iPhone 13 Pro. It's just easier to get good video for this phone, and I don't find it to be hard at all to focus on anything. You don't really have to refocus anything. This really reminds me of a really good camcorder. It just works super well in terms of the video quality. It's probably the easiest and highest quality video you're going to get on a smartphone. So definitely 13 Pro, 13 Pro Max, still crushing it on the video game. The next one at number 9 is, in some cases, the battery life is still better on the iPhone 13 Pro. Now I find that you can last sometimes a little bit longer on the Galaxy, but it's not going to happen if you're using the brightest display modes, you're using it full blast. You have to do some tweaks to get the best battery life. You don't really have to try too much on the iPhone 13 Pro. This one right here can actually last a whole day with heavy use pretty easily, even though this is not even a 3100 milliamp. It's like a 3095 cell in here, but still, with optimizations with the A15, this phone is really impressive in the battery life. It also actually has really good standby time. So if you want to just kind of leave it in your pocket or go to bed with it at about 89, you're going to wake up with about 88, 89. So definitely really good standby. This one still has some drain when you are sleeping and stuff like that. So charges faster. I mentioned that and why it's better, but those are the reasons why the iPhone 13 Pro are better than the Galaxy S22 Plus. Those are my 10 reasons. Do you have any more? Let us know down below in the comments section of this video. And if you want to know why the S22 Plus is better, check out my previous video where I discussed those. Anyway, did you get the 13 Pro or the S22 Plus? You're like, I'm over both of these, bro. I'm waiting for the 14 Pro. I'm waiting for the next Galaxy. Let me know what you're waiting for. If you got any of these, I'd love to hear it down below. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well. I will catch you all in the very next episode, and peace.